How far would you go for your favorite fast food burger? You've got your New Yorkers obsessed with White Castle, Texans going wild for Whataburger. But for us, there's only one true fast food burger. I'm going to be honest, I'm really in the mood for In-N-Out Burger.
I'm always in the mood for In-N-Out Burger.
Yeah, well, the closest one I did look is in Salem, Oregon. It's about 700 miles away.
We can't do that.
It's a long way to drive for a burger.
Sounds like an RV trip to me.
All right, well, I'll start planning.
Let's do it.
Now, is a 2,300 kilometer pilgrimage for a burger worth it? Absolutely. We weren't just going to make that long drive for one burger, though. No, we decided to turn it into a full-blown road trip adventure. We'd explore the stunning Oregon coast, catch up with some old friends, and indulge in some mouth-watering American barbecue. It was going to be an epic journey. We've driven through Washington and Oregon countless times, but we've always just passed through. This time, though, we're going to slow down, take it all in, and really experience these beautiful states. It was time to make them our destination. Spontaneity is a spice of life, right? We packed up our RV in the late afternoon and hit the road. After a quick border crossing and late dinner, we settled in at the Bellingham rest area for the night. The rush of it all was exhilarating, and we were so excited to start our adventure that we didn't even think about turning on the camera until the next day. As we made our way south towards Seattle, we spotted a European RV. It's always a cool sight to see these unique RVs, imported all the way from Europe with European license plates. We see them quite often in Canada, but it's still exciting to come across them on our channels and good to see they make their way to the US. Once we navigated the morning Seattle traffic, we made our first stop at Salume. It might seem a bit crazy to take a big RV into a bustling city center, but I come from a family of truck drivers, and if they can maneuver these massive rigs through city streets, I can certainly take my 20-foot travel trailer through them. We cruised past iconic Seattle landmarks like the baseball and football stadiums before finally arriving downtown. While my wife explored the shops, I navigated the city streets. There was one tense moment with an armored car sticking out in the road, but I managed to squeeze by. I actually made a separate video about driving in Seattle, so be sure to check it out for all the juicy details. I'll link that here. We headed out of Seattle before the peak commute and headed south. We stopped by South Bay Barbecue in Olympia, Washington. It had a great atmosphere, easy parking, and good food. I definitely recommend this one. We stopped at another RV-friendly rest area before crossing the border into Portland. It's worth noting that not all rest areas in Highway 5 in Washington allow RVs to park, so it's important to plan accordingly. We didn't film this particular rest area because, let's face it, they all start to look the same. But we got a really cool one coming up later in this video that you don't want to miss. The next morning, we ventured into a quirky neighborhood in Portland. My wife was excited to explore some unique plant stores, one of which had a more macabre side with taxidermy, skulls, and other gothic goodies. Paxton Gate is a unique Portland shop filled with vintage curiosities, scientific oddities, and natural history treasures. From preserved taxidermy to rare minerals, every item tells a story. The knowledgeable staff is passionate about sharing their knowledge, and they'll make your visit even more enriching. The shelves are lined with antique scientific instruments, the cabinets are filled with exotic insects and displays showcasing rare fossils, and they invite you to explore the depths of the natural world. As you step through their doors, you're transported into another world. The shop is a captivating blend of village curiosities, scientific oddities, and natural history treasures. They were dog-friendly for us and very welcoming. We went across Portland and met up with some friends around lunchtime and got the exciting news that they were engaged. So after celebrating a bit, we turned our attention to the next event, which was heading to the In-N-Out Burger. We did stop for some delicious Portland donuts, not voodoo donuts though, and we navigated the maze of freeways and bridges that make up Portland as we headed south towards Salem. Finally, we hit our target, what we've been waiting for all this time, our favorite burger place, In-N-Out Burger. The crowds were out of control, and we were quite surprised to hear it's going to be a 50-minute wait between order and getting that burger. I kind of think they were favoring the drive-thru to keep traffic from backing up in the street, but that's fine. We sat there in the parking lot, and eventually we got our burgers, and we savored them. All right, here it is. It was worth every mile and definitely worth the wait. It was getting late, so we ended up at the Baddock rest area for the night. Now, this had a massive, expansive extra parking zone. Now, people there hadn't set up camp, but they were clearly letting people stay overnight without hassle. It was one of the largest rest areas I'd ever seen. It had a massive parking area perfect for RVs, and it seemed like overnight stays were just not a problem. It was a great place to wind down after a long day of driving. The Baddock Rest Area is situated on Interstate 5, 14 miles north of Portland, Oregon. It provides a serene and convenient stop for travelers. These rest areas specifically offer a beautiful natural setting with lush greenery and peaceful walking paths, almost like a park. Visitors can enjoy picnics, leisurely strolls, or just relax in the tranquil atmosphere. They had the basic amenities like clean restrooms and drinking water, vending machines. A notable feature of the Baddock Rest Area is the Baddock Solar Station. It's a 1.75 megawatt solar array that generates clean, renewable energy. This innovative project, completed in 2012, showcases Oregon's commitment to sustainable energy. Visitors can learn about the solar station through interpretive displays, and you can actually see the solar panels firsthand. All right, let's go. After a leisurely morning exploring Portland's plant stores, we headed to a local favorite, Buster's Barbecue in Tigard. I actually featured this joint in a video last year during my RV's maiden voyage down to Utah. Now, the mouth-watering aroma of slow-cooked meats is in the air as we eagerly awaited our order. They had a tender brisket, juicy ribs. It's no wonder that Buster's has such a loyal following and is a must-visit for barbecue enthusiasts like ourselves. We got chicken. We got brisket. We got what was supposed to be one beef rib, but
It's a big
that's
rib.
a big rib.
America.
And then the sides.
Fixins. You know what I'm talking about? Ooh, we're gonna have a lot of fixins.
In the fixins.
And then to work off our barbecue feast, we decided to take dogs to the local dog park. It's always a highlight in our road trips to let our dogs stretch their legs and socialize with other dogs. Dog parks are also a great way to meet the locals, and there's usually RV parking. Finally, we set our sights on the stunning Oregon coast. Our first stop for the night was the Blue Heron French Cheese Company for some cheese and a free night stay. They're part of the Harvest Host Network, although we're not really members. We found this one in Overlander. It was the perfect way to start our coastal adventure. Now, the Blue Heron Cheese Factory is more than just a cheese shop. It's a charming vintage farm with a delightful petting zoo, and visitors can get up close with the friendly farm animals, creating a memorable experience for both the kids and adults. And beyond the farm's ambiance and allure, the cheese shop offers a delectable selection of artisanal cheeses, from a creamy brie to aged cheddars, and the daily wine and cheese tastings are a popular attraction. This allows guests to savor the perfect pairings of fine Oregon wines and exquisite cheeses. The next morning we headed out and we headed towards the port of Garibaldi, Oregon. Perfect, just keep going. pulled into the quaint fishing town, and it's a hidden gem on the northern Oregon coast. As we rolled into the marina, we were immediately captivated by the bustling activity of the harbor. The air was filled with a salty tang, there's a distant rumble of diesel engines, and it was a scene straight out of a classic coastal town. This port is a working port, so you do need to be ready for a lot of the sounds and smells of being around a working port. The Port of Garibaldi is renowned as one of the crabbing capitals of the West Coast, and it lives up to its reputation. We saw the locals preparing their traps, and there's a long pier stretching out into the Pacific that was a total hive of activity. We decided to spend a few nights here at the port, and there's a perfect vantage point to observe the town's maritime life. As the sun dipped down below the horizon, the harbor was bathed in a golden glow. The rhythmic lapping of the waves provided a soothing soundtrack to our evening. We watched as the fishermen returned to the dock, their boats laden with the catches. It was a truly magical experience. We even got to watch a helicopter land right next to us at the Coast Guard facility. We made a couple of day trips up the coast after work each day, and we ended up in Cannon Beach. Cannon Beach is a picturesque coastal town, and it's renowned for its stunning natural beauty and laid-back atmosphere.
Hey everyone, I'm in Cannon Beach. We've been here for a couple of days actually. So I've been working. That's what happens Tuesday through Thursday on these trips, is I park and I work. So I've been doing a lot of work last few days, just working from the trailer, letting my wife rest. We had one evening of rain last night, but it was just for like an hour. Other than that, the weather's been beautiful. This is the reason we came down from BC, was just to get that extra, 5 to 10 degrees Fahrenheit that we just wouldn't get if we went north. Not this time of year, right? We're just entering into October. It's a little windy, you can probably hear that. We just went and got some nice coffee and a treat at a nice little bookstore. Now wife went to a plant store, did another video. Now I think we're gonna go shop for some food and go make some burgers at home, barbecue something up.
We couldn't help but be awestruck by the towering sea stacks that dot the horizon, and the most iconic of these is Haystack Rock. It's a monolithic formation that's captured the heart of locals and visitors. Haystack Rock has become the symbol of the Oregon coast, and its fame was further solidified by its appearance in the beloved 80s film The Goonies.
What's that? 3 rocks out there. Take a 1, 2, 3 right out there.
As we stood at the base of the majestic rock, we couldn't shake the feeling of stepping into a cinematic scene. Feet wet in the water, and poor little Linus, he took himself a little dunk in one of the waves. Do be careful out there. The waves do sneak up on you on a very shallow beach. And beyond its cinematic appeal, Cannon Beach offers a wealth of outdoor activities for the nature enthusiasts, and for those seeking a more leisurely pace, simply relaxing on the beach and soaking up the sun and breeze is a perfect way to unwind. We had the pleasure of running into a couple of fans who recognized us from the channel. It's always heartwarming to meet viewers who enjoy our content and take the time to say hello. It's these interactions that make traveling even more special.
Hello, doggies. Where's Linus? Where's Linus? Come here, buddy. Come here. There he is. Oh, the sun's all shining on Linus. Oh, it's attack time.
And with the work week behind us, we packed up our RV and headed to the historic town of Astoria. We settled into a campsite at Fort Stevens State Park, a stunning coastal park with a rich military history. It's a very treed-in park, and we found a secluded spot that actually had open Starlink coverage from the trees. This allowed us to stay connected. The campground was home to a herd of majestic elk which gracefully roamed the camping grounds.
Hey, good morning. We're at Fort Stevens State Park here in Oregon, just outside of Astoria. We're not really very far from where we camped last time. This isn't about making miles on this one. We came up the coast, had to do some work throughout the day, so I sort of slowly made my way up from through Cannon Beach, and we went out to the beach. Linus got pretty wet, and we had some fun out there. Then we worked our way up here to Astoria to finally stay here at this park. We did have to find a spot that had a good opening, so I looked on Google Maps to find a space that I could see from space, and then I figured, okay, if I can see it from space, then my satellite will be able to see space, and this is where we got. So we correlated it with which spot it was, went online and booked it. The Oregon system is pretty simple. You can book online right up to the very day that you're coming in, really right up to the moment. It's very real time, so that's kind of cool. Also, your camping pass allows you to go to all the day use places as a day use pass. So once you have your pass, it works for everything. And that's nice. That way you don't have to keep buying little mini passes as you go to different state beaches. As you might tell, it rained last night. It rained really hard, but luckily it rained overnight. So we had that tappa on the ember roof.
Tappa, tappa, tappa.
You know, when you don't have a roof membrane, it sounds very different. And we woke up knowing that it was going to end around noon. And look at that. Like it was on cue. The sun just came out. And we're heading out now. So we're going to go to Astoria. This whole area is basically where Goonies was filmed. And so, you know, that's one of the local tourist attractions, basically, is the Goonies related stuff. It's also a really beautiful town. We found out it's where Lewis and Clark ended their journey. So we're going to go look at different things. Going to go look at a big tall tower that you can apparently walk up. Cool thing here is you can drone in state parks. That's a nice little plus. But obviously I want to be respectful about it, so I've only been doing it in the remote areas. And I think Johanna's got the dogs in, so it's time for us to head out. Let's go check out Astoria.
This charming coastal city is steeped in maritime history and offers a unique blend of old world charm and modern day attractions. On our first day in Astoria, we embarked on a journey to explore the town's iconic attractions. We saw the historic Columbia River Maritime Museum Tower. It offers panoramic views of the river and the city, and then we wandered through the charming downtown area, discovering unique shops and eateries. Astoria is a gem of the Pacific Northwest. It traces its origins to the early 19th century when it was founded as a fur trading post. Over time, it transformed into a bustling port city, drawing immigrants from the diverse cultures. The city's strategic location on the Columbia River fueled its growth as a maritime hub. Despite facing challenges like the Great Fire of 1922, Astoria has persevered, maintaining the rich history and natural beauty, making it a captivating destination for visitors. We went to a classic chain on the coast called Moe's, and unfortunately our dining experience was somewhat disappointing. However, we redeemed ourselves with a delicious treat classic custard, a local delicacy that satisfied Johanna's sweet tooth. Highlight of our stay was exploring the abandoned military bunkers at Fort Stevens. These historic structures, once part of a vital defense system, now stand as a testament to the past. We took advantage of the opportunity to fly our drone over the bunkers, capturing stunning aerial footage of these fascinating relics. Fort Stevens was a strategic military installation constructed during the American Civil War. Its primary purpose was to safeguard the Pacific Northwest, particularly the vital Columbia River, from potential threats, including a possible British intervention on the side of the Confederacy. It's important to note that the Columbia River once was the border between what was then British Canada, so to speak, and America. Over the decades, Fort Stevens underwent significant transformations to keep pace with the evolving military technology and strategies. It was fortified with advanced artillery and other defense systems, reflecting the nation's commitment to protecting its western frontier. Despite its imposing presence, the fort never saw active combat. Today, Fort Stevens stands as a testament to a bygone era. It's been repurposed as a state park, and it offers visitors a unique opportunity to explore the remnants of its military past. The fort's historic structures, including gun batteries, barracks, and other fortifications, provide a fascinating glimpse into the region's military history. After our long weekend in Astoria, we headed across the Columbia on a harrowing bridge, starting our final leg home. The Astoria Megler Bridge is a remarkable feat of engineering. It was completed in 1966. It spans the mighty Columbia River, connecting Astoria, Oregon to Point Elise, Washington, and at the time of its construction, it held the title of the world's longest continuous truss bridge. This impressive infrastructure replaced the ferry service and with a more reliable and efficient connection between the two states. While the bridge is a marvel of engineering, it can be a daunting experience for some drivers and their passengers. Its long exposed spans and narrow lanes can be intimidating, especially in the windy conditions. The bridge's height above the river and the lack of guardrails on the side can also contribute to this sense of unease for those with a fear of heights. Additionally, the bridge's susceptibility to strong winds and fog can further exacerbate these challenges, making it a more difficult drive for some.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Well, I'm at the Columbia River. I'm just across from Oregon here in Washington. This provides the state border. It also used to be the border between Canada and America. And then eventually treaties, wars, blah, blah, blah. The British, they moved it north. That's why Vancouver, Washington is called Vancouver, Washington. It was named after George Vancouver. I'm getting a call. Likely spam. Bloop. So yeah, we just crossed the big bridge across the Columbia River. Johanna was white-knuckled a little bit. A lot of people do not like that bridge. It is quite the aerial adventure. I got some footage on the Ember Cam. Hopefully you can see. A little foggier than I wanted. But hey, fog is par for the course when you're up here on the Oregon and Washington coast. So we got out a little early at 9 a.m. departure from the state park, and we're heading home. Now, we're not going to actually cross the border till tomorrow, but we're going to do some driving today and get ourselves up into Washington State. But it was a wonderful time in Astoria, and we've really had a blast on this trip. Definitely reminded us why we need to come down to the Northwest more often. It's kind of funny that we've lived in Canada for 11 years, and it's the very first time we've toured the Northwest without it being part of a trip down south to the California, Arizona area or back. So the lesson we learned is let's take advantage of this a little bit more, especially as we get into winter, because you can get away with coming down here in the winter a little easier than trying to go north or going east into Canada. It's time to flex that dual passport a little more. So let's get moving down the Columbia River here as we head home as slow as possible.
After we crossed the bridge, we actually saw a fellow Ember owner drive by. We were pretty excited when we saw the other Ember owner. It's always a rare and cool thing to connect with fellow enthusiasts on the road. We waved and honked, and later on we connected on Facebook. It's a pretty tight-knit community, so when you can post in one of the Ember groups that you just saw another Ember, the other person usually responds back, "Hey, that was me." I pulled off to get coffee, and all right, let's talk about this house. This isn't just a house, folks. It's a statement. A bold, unapologetic declaration of freedom of expression. I mean, just look at it. It's like a living, breathing piece of American art, a testament to the wild and wonderful spirit of this country. I couldn't help but pull over and capture this moment of pure, unfiltered American ingenuity. America! Okay, I didn't agree with everything, but that's irrelevant. We ended up making a few more plant store stops as we continued our journey. They were all pretty cool with a great selection of plants. You can see more on Johanna's YouTube page, Joe's Rude Awakening.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Well, we're ending this journey today where we started this journey, really, and that's here at the Bellingham Rest Area. We actually started our journey directly across the freeway at the Bow Valley Rest Area, going down where we left at night. So we kind of just stayed there for the first night and then headed out in the morning. And last night we weren't really up for doing a late night border run. If I went last night, I wouldn't be able to drop this off at storage. And it's always nicer to have the full day when I'm crossing the border. So we're going to do one more plant store. We're going to make a list of everything we bought, because if you're not aware, you have to declare everything that you bought. And if you bought too much, you got to pay taxes on it. Now, luckily, we never exceed our exemption. We really try to keep it under $800 a person so that we're not paying taxes when we cross the border. We spend our Canadian earned dollars in Canada for the most part for buying things. Bought that trailer, bought that truck in Canada. I'm no nationalist or anything, but, I don't mind spending my money where I live. So the truck stop never really filled up, but there's been trucks coming and going like that. There we go. See, we leave lots of room. When I do go to these rest areas, I try to park at the end so that my stairs doesn't interfere with any of the truckers' spaces. And, if it fills up, we get out early. We saw last night that it never really filled up here, so I wasn't taking the place of a working trucker. And that's important, because in the end, these guys are out here working, and I'm out here just messing around, having fun. And when I take up a space that a trucker needs to use, it's not a good thing. So you'll find that as much as we stayed in rest areas a lot, I always tried to make sure we were staying in rest areas like on the weekends and times when there wasn't really filled with trucks. I feel awful if I displace a trucker who needs to stop both either legally or just to be safe because they're tired. But I ramble on, so that's it. That was the end of another journey. One thing we discovered on this trip to the States, again, the first time we had ever done the Pacific Northwest without it being part of a California, Southern United States tour, we never just came down and wandered around so close to home. So we realized we were really overlooking a good resource. So we'll likely be coming down here in the winter time, coming down here for Christmas break maybe. That's always a good one. As much as it is still cold down here in Washington and Oregon, it's never as cold as it is up in British Columbia. And if it snows, it snows maybe a little bit, kind of like Vancouver. It doesn't really snow heavily here. So there's very little that nature's going to throw me down here that I can't handle, aside from an occasional freak storm. So maybe we'll come down here a little more this winter, enjoy the States, enjoy that dual passport. But for now, we got to wrap things up and get ready for the border. That's always fun.
And there you have it, folks. A wild, spontaneous road trip fueled by a craving for In-N-Out Burger. From exploring the stunning Oregon coast to reconnecting with friends and indulging in delicious barbecue, this adventure was truly unforgettable. Remember, sometimes the best trips are the ones you take on a whim. So pack your bags, hit the road, let the adventure unfold, get busy living. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more exciting travel videos. And here are some more links to playlists and videos you can check out.